Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Versus System unboxing. This is for the Marvel Crossover Set, Volume 4, Issue number 11. The crossovers are the end of each volume, and it's the end of the year sets, and they're like a little mismatch of everything else. The original one started with like Legacy, which just added some more cards to each other group, and then that's kind of what the first two crossovers sort of did. They just added some extra cards to like beef up each other team, and then they started. Then 3 and 4 kind of went a little different. But yeah, I really liked it. 4 went a lot. Excuse me. 3 went a lot different. Is it added a bunch of new card types? The Battleworld. Alright. Sorry about that. So the third set added a bunch of new cards and game types. So it added the Battleworld terrains, which added new like special locations. It added various effects. It added terrain cards for the city, which are cards you actually put on the board, which affected various things in the game. You could put them on your side or your opponent's. They added story modes, which gave each person you were playing something like a little objective to kind of go for. And then they added boss battles, which lets you let one player play as a boss versus multiple other people with extra little bonuses, which is kind of fun. And then this just expands upon that, as well as some other themes that maybe didn't get enough show from everything else. So it says annual crossover. All new terrain, boss battles, as well as some new characters and abilities. So we're going to jump in. We see right away we're going to get some Scarlet Witch and Beast. So we have our sheet here, which goes over all the different stuff. So it's going to go over the different characters in there as we go through, as well as it goes through explaining what Battleworld, boss battles, all those things are. And we'll kind of just jump through back to this as we need to. Alright, so we're going to start off with our first main character. We're going to have Master Mold. So we're going to get a new Sentinel lead character. So before we just had a Sentinel and I think Nimrod were the only two. So now we have a third character to play as, which is definitely fun. Kind of beefs up these guys. This is one of the few teams that didn't get like a full set. They were mixed in with Days of the Future Past with some of the other X-Men characters. So they got like half a set. Most other characters usually get like a full set, so this kind of helped expand them out a little bit. So, of course, there's also AKA Sentinel, and it says all systems online. Master Mold has the keyword and powers from each Alpha Combat Unit's learning program in your KO pile. Just the same way the Alpha Combat Units do. And then cast in the same mold. Level up 6. When a supporting character named Sentinel appears on your side, Master Mold gains 1 XP. So he wants to summon them. And then when he upgrades, it's a lot more defense. So he keeps the learning protocol, or learning program. He has fully operational capability. At the start of your build phase, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Put each revealed supporting character named Sentinel onto your side and the rest at the bottom of your deck. So Sentinels are kind of nasty. So we're going to jump forward a bunch of cards through the set here, and we're going to look at the Sentinels. So usually you get 4 of each type of character. The Sentinel here, you're going to get 1 of a kind. They're going to have Swarm. What Swarm says, you can have any number of this character on your side. So you can have, there's only 1 version of this particular Sentinel, although there's going to be a lot more Sentinels that are just called Sentinel. It might have the same name, same artwork, all that. But we're always looking at the keyword down at the bottom. So it's always the set number, which is what makes it different. So the Alpha Combat Unit is self-replicating. When this character appears, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each Alpha Combat Unit in your KO pile. And then the Alpha Combat Unit Learning Program, which Master Mold can also use, is this character as Combat Master. And the keyword powers from each Alpha Combat Unit's learning program in your KO pile. So as they die, each one gets stronger, essentially. They're not very strong to begin with. And Combat Master says, well, this character is in combat, and new players can't play plot twists. So then we're going to get another version, which have all the same stuff, except at the bottom, now the character has Genius, which says at the start of your turn, draw a card. We get a third Sentinel, which has Hunter. This character has +3 attack while attacking. And then we have a fourth one, which has Invade. When this character is attacking a back row character, that character can't strike this character. So you just go attack the back row without them attacking. And now if you have all 4 of them dead, if all 4 go to your discard pile, Master Mold gains all the extra abilities. So it's definitely an interesting thing like the way the Sentinels work. Alright. Opposite of Sentinels, of course, we should get an X-Man character. We have the Beast. Hank McCoy here. So he has 6 PhDs. You may include any good inventions in your invention pile. Beast can invent them. Then Climb. At the start of your main phase, you may exhaust a location on your side. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Beast. And Science and Teacher. Level up 1. At the beginning of your turn, if you have a laboratory and a school of gifted youngsters, their locations, on your side, Beast gains 1 XP. Yeah, so the bottom 2 are kind of self-explanatory, and then Inventions, which I believe started in the Fantastic Four set, but have been a couple other sets since then. So Inventions, if you have any character that can create inventions in your deck, like Beast or Tony Stark, spoiler, you get a single invention pile, even if you have multiple different inventors in your deck. This is your pile is viable on which inventions give you access to, and which of those inventions you choose to include. And private, only you can look at. So if you have a character that can only put good ones in there, and you have one that can put usually you can only use ones of the same class. Like a Fantastic Four character can only use Fantastic Four inventions, and X-Men can only use X-Men. For example, you still put them all in the same pile, just because you're not going to have a different pile for each different character. The invention pile gives you access to each invention card without a team affiliation, and each invention card that shares a team affiliation with an inventor in your deck. So basically, like, you can't put an X-Men invention in your deck if you don't have an X-Men adventure. So I think right now it's just Beast and Forge. But you may include any number of these inventions up to their invention number. So that will parentheses. I don't think there was any in this set, or I would show you what they look like. So it's basically, they just give you extra cards to pull from. It says when your character on your side creates an invention, secretly choosing an invention from the card in your invention pile that either has no team affiliation or that shares a team affiliation with the adventure, and put it in your hand. So it lets you basically pull special cards out of the pile. They could be plot twists, they could be supporting characters, they could be equipment items. Oh, that's right, we do have some in this set. Okay, so we'll look at those in just a minute. I forgot, we did have some. Well, we have Beast here. So we'll look at his level 2. So he has Climb, his Acrobatic. While in combat, Beast gets struck as though he has double defense. And then a feat with my feat. Build, he creates an invention. So he can't create an invention until he levels up, but you can spend 1 blue to create an invention. So before we look at the inventions, let's look at Tony Stark here. So we will get 4 copies of him, because he's a regular character, or supporting character. So he's an inventor, aka Iron Man, reinventing the wheel. When Tony appears, he may create an invention. And the original, when Tony is equipped with an invention with armor in its name, he has +4/+4. So he starts off as weak, but he can become very strong. So what do equipment look like? Alright, so here's an example of, sorry, not equipment, but an invention. So this is say invention 1 is Iron Man armor. So he can include 1 in his deck. That's it. So you can't have multiple Iron Man cards called Iron Man armor from this set. So this is from the armory. Equipped character has +2/+2 flying and range. So if Tony Stark equips it, makes him a 6/6 flying range character, or plus those. And then it's Arc Reactor, build. This turn, whenever you play a card, you may draw a card. Now this is an Avenger one, so only Avengers, like Tony Stark, or Beast could include it, because Beast actually has, let's see if they mentioned it in here. I don't think they specifically mention it. But because he says good, he can include any different cards. Yeah, they don't specifically mention it. Yeah, because he's part of a good team, Avengers, he can include these as well. We have the Rescue Armor. So if you want to switch to that, gets +4 defense, but it has flying and range. It says electromagnetic force fields. Any combat, blue or green, choose a character in combat. It can't be struck this turn. Or we could create the War Machine Armor, which gives you 4 attack, flying and range, and spend 2 green during your main to do the rocket launcher. KO a supporting character. So that's really neat. You create the 3 different armors, so you can definitely see them now adding other Siege of Armors in here later, like Hulkbuster, or Iron Patriot, or some different ones like that. So that's definitely a neat thing you can do. Since we've been jumping around anyhow through this set, let's look at a Sentinel card. Since we already saw our Sentinels, we have Reinforcements. It's a plot twist. It says build, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, put a Sentinel card from among them in your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your deck, so you can get whatever Sentinel you actually need. And we will get 4 copies of that as well. Alright. Up next, we're going to look at a special villain. We are going to get from the Masters of Evil, Egghead, who says, Evil Loyalty. Put this in your deck only if each card with a team affiliation and each character in your deck is evil. So you have to have evil characters. And then Evil Mastermind. When Egghead appears, search your deck for an evil card, reveal it, and then shuffle your deck and put that card on top. So all the cards have to be evil. Which evil are just the bad guys' teams, which could be Masters of Evil, Underworld, Frightful, Villains, Femme Fatales. I'm sure I'm missing a few more. There is, you can go look at the compiled rulebook on the Upper Deck website. It will have a list of all the different teams. I'm sure it also probably includes some like the photographic teams and stuff like that. Alright, so our next character is going to be 4 copies, of course, a Scarlet Witch, who is an Avenger who has Spellcaster Red. She can cast red spells and alter reality. Spend a blue or yellow, place a random terrain from Scarlet Witch's Chaos Pile. So she has a special Chaos Pile which you're going to build. So as her Chaos Pile contains 10 terrain cards, this is variable. You choose the terrains. You can choose cards from multiple terrain sets and private. Only you can look at. Place the terrain just as if you were doing so at the start of the game. There's no limit to the amount of terrain that can be played. So you can have special terrains. And then we'll look at those when we actually get to those. The other thing is Spell and Spellcaster. So this came from the Mystic Art set, which is a few sets before this one. So they added a bunch of Spellcasters. So now, spells are plots that introduced in the recent Mystic Art issue. They require a specific type of Spellcaster to pay for a specific power. So, for example, Forget is a yellow spell. To play a spellcaster on your side, such as Baron Mortar, must pay a yellow. Other than the above requirements, spells work just like any other plot twists. Note, if a spell is playable in combat, the spellcaster casted does not have to be in combat. So Scarlet Witch can cast any of these red spells that you might have by paying a red. So she just can pay for it that way. So then we have 4 copies of her, and then we are also are going to get 4 copies of Baron Mordor, who is a blue and yellow spellcaster. So you can have blue and yellow. He's from the Underworld team. This kind of goes good because you have Doctor Strange in the other set. So, Black Magic Man. When Baron Mordor casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on each enemy character. So he actually gets some bonuses from playing spells. So let's look at a couple of the spells. We need to get some more in this set. We're going to get Forget. So they're one of a kind. These go in your deck like normal, so they don't have like a separate spell deck sitting aside. So you have to find these in your deck to be able to play them and have that spellcaster and then pay for it. You only have 1 copy in your deck. So you pay a yellow for this one with a yellow spellcaster. It says main or combat. Look at the enemy player's hand, choose a card there, discard it and each copy of it. We have a green one. So you have Dominate, which is a spend green. And then combat, you start an enemy supporting character in the combat. And then we got a red one. So we did not get a blue one in this set for whatever reason. We have Overload. Which takes a red spellcaster. In combat, choose a character in combat to get +10/+10 this combat. It's definitely fun. Fun little twists. Alright, so our last character for the entire set is going to be a one-of-a-kind Beyonder with 15 cost, infinite attack and defense. I'm going to zoom up on his effects here. It says, while the Beyonder is in your hand during an enemy player's end step, he may pay 2 different power symbols. If he does, discard him and reveal the top of his creator pile. The game enters that domain and is omnipotent. The Beyonder can only appear when he is recruited. At the start of your main phase, choose a keyword or superpower in the Beyonder's power pile. He gains that power for the rest of the game. So he's got some special powers. Alright, so let's look at what these are. First, his creator pile is from the creator of the Battleworld. Contains 5 Battleworld domains. This pile is variable and private. If the game is already in a Battleworld domain when he uses it, that one goes to its discard pile. The second rule is from his omnipotent power contains any 5 different supporting characters. These can be characters from any Versus system, photographic, illustrated, any property. So you could play with Buffy or X-Files or any of the movie ones. Yep, and they just basically get this. You'll need to reveal the character you choose when you use it. So let's use a special power from one of those guys. Alright, so that is him. Alright, now let's look at, got one special location here. The Nexus of All Realities. One of a kind, you may only have one of this card in your deck. It's going to do space, earth, blue, yellow, green, and red for a supporting character. If Man-Thing is on your side, the power symbol can be used for a main character. So that's kind of cool. It becomes basically, it uses it for anything, as long as it's for a supporting character. Unless you have a Man-Thing on your side, then you can use it for everything. So that's kind of cool. Alright, now we are going to hop into the Battleworld domains. We're going to have 5 new domains. How do the domains work? Domains work like this. Battleworld. It's a patchwork of planets created by various cosmic entities over the years, and you have their domain. So shuffle 12 random domains, or 5 if you only have the ones in this issue. Place them face down in a pile between the players. When a defending main character is wounded in combat, reveal the top Battleworld domain. The game enters this domain, meaning its effects are now applicable, and the game stays in that domain until the next time a defending main character is wounded. Then the game will leave the current one and enter the next one. Put the old one in the discard pile and reveal the new one. It only be one domain at a time. If the discard runs out, make a new pile. They're not in play and can't be affected. It can also be used with some other modes. So basically, there's like global effects that can come out. So we have Limbo, which will create. So you got lots of these are taken from the Secret Wars comic. So Goblin District. At the start of each player's turn, they put 4 Goblin Demon tokens into their front row. Goblin Demons have the Femme Fatale, Team Affiliation, 0 cost, 1 attack, 1 defense, 1 health, and Swarm. We could go to Mutopia, a dream come true. All characters are friendly, they can't attack. The New Atlan, Terrigen Crystals. Characters have Terrigenesis. When they appear, you may exhaust them. If you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters on them. Norsheim, Remnants of the 10 Realms. When the game enters this domain, it also enters the next domain. This game is in both domains. When it would leave a domain, it leaves both. The supporting characters have +5 attack and regeneration. At the start of your turn, heal a wound from them. And our last one is the Sentinel Territories, which works well with our Sentinels. Power Neutralizer. Characters other than Sentinel characters lose and can't gain powers. So that's really fun. Alright, our next one we're going to look at are the terrains. These are the ones that, so the domains are what Beyonder uses, the terrains are what Wanda uses. So these ones are yellow, which kind of makes the text kind of hard to read. But it's terrain, and then this is forest. The crossover pack 3 had city cards, so now you can have cities and forests. How do terrains work? Alright, it says, after including a city terrain set, we decided to add a second one. We added forest mode. Setup. Shuffle a set of 10 terrains and place them face down. After a player determines who goes first, but before their main character, they each draw a terrain card and look at it. The first player places their terrain with the rest of each player following in turn order. It will tell you where it goes, and can be placed on your rows or the enemies. We suggest you turn it sideways in its row. Then each player draws their hand as normal. Terrains offer character in a row or 1 or 2 characters in a row. If a terrain affects the entire row, it can do. There's nothing else it can do. It modifies apply to each character in that row. If it affects 1 or 2 characters during each player's formation step, they can move the proper number of characters into or out of that terrain. While the characters in the terrain of this type, it modifies applies to those characters. You can leave this type of terrain empty or not required to put characters in it. Character can't be more than 1 terrain of this type, but it could be affected by a terrain that affects an entire row and one that affects only 1 character. And then there's some special rules for some of these. So, forest terrains are destructible. They have health. Characters can attack the destructible terrain. They normally would attack an enemy in that row. And if they destroy it, it's gone. And then some are secret, means you get place face down instead of face up. When you want to put a secret one, turn it face up. You put someone in formation, you turn it face up. So here we have Angry Beasts.